Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you have seen the first two videos. One on overcoming exam anxiety and second how to concentrate in exams for a long time. Now let's come to the most important part, motivation. One of the things that my students always ask me, ma'am, I know I have exam tomorrow but I'm not motivated enough to study. What should I do? So let's talk about that today. Okay, so today we're going to talk about motivation. Before even we talk about motivation, the first thing that I'd like all of you to do is this. I know that your parents want a certain number that you want in your boards. Probably your uncle, aunt, probably also have an expectation of you that you should get this number. Your brother or sister could also say that you should get this number. But just for 1 second, I want you to close your eyes and think about the number that you want. And when you open your eyes, I want you to write that number down on a piece of paper in as big letters as possible and pin it up. Please remember, that is a number that you want, not your parents, not your brother, not your friends, not your uncle, anybody but you. Now, why is that important? Please remember, whatever it is that you're doing it for yourself. And when you realize that whatever that number you want is for you, that is the first step of your motivation. Now, why is it important for you to get that number? That is the second question I want you to ask. Why is it important? The obvious answer is for your dream. You probably want to get into IIT, or you want to get into the best arts college, or you want to do commerce and you want to get into CA, or you want to get into hotel management, anything. Whatever your dream may be, that is your dream. You're the one who is going to pursue it. And if you want to get into that number that you want is the one that is going to get to your dream. Many a times students think of exam as a burden, but I am asking you to think of it as a tool which will help you get to your exam. Now, while we spoke about the number that you want and why you want that number, then comes the most important part as to how do I go about it. The first and the simple thing, if you remember in school, we have a timetable. You have 45 minutes of one class, 45 minutes of another class, in between you have 5 minutes break and so on and so forth. Have you ever wondered why the timetable is there? In very simple terms, it is the one which is giving you structure so that your brain is able to process the information in a structured way. So, why not that you start by making a timetable as to how you want to study? A lot of times when I ask my students how do they prepare the timetable, they tell me, ma'am, maths we will practice every day. Then I'm like, what happened to language? Language we'll study when we are bored, ma'am. I'm like, okay, then when do you do science? Science, when we have finished 90% of maths, then we'll come to science. Now, when you're doing this kind of planning, what you're actually doing is favoritism. मेरा favorite subject maths है, मेरा favorite subject science है, so I'll focus only on that. SST और English हम बाद में देख लेंगे. Now the problem with that is when you're actually sitting down to finish your portion, you are in trouble because SST is so vast. Same with your languages because there is grammar. So instead, look at it this way. Why not? Yes, practice maths every day, but have it in a balance. So when you're sitting down to make your timetable, have the combination of the subjects in this particular way. Please note, this is only a suggestion for you. You're free to improvise on it and take it forward. Let's go with maths and any of the language. It could be Hindi, it could be English, it could be French. Now, why do I suggest this combination? Now, when you're doing maths, your brain is already in the problem solving mode and it is continuously staying in that. Now, when your brain needs a break, it needs to break that pattern. And that when you club it with any of the languages, you will be surprised to see that at the end of the day, you're able to remember both of these in an equal balance. I won't say you'll remember 100%, but be assured that at least if you remember 70% of both of these together, that will be your next motivation to go ahead and complete the next part. And the second combination that you can think of is science and SST. A lot of students say, ma'am, SST is only reading, there's nothing to actually learn in that and all of it. I agree. But if SST is only reading, if you read only SST the whole day, by the half of your day, you're fast asleep. And you don't feel like opening your books anymore, and you procrastinate as much as you can. Instead, again club an analytical subject like your science, wherein you have your numericals and your concepts which need to be learnt and practiced. At the same time, if you balance it with some amount of reading, again you'll be able to retain the information. Now it is left up to you as to how you want to plan the day. In the sense, you could be a person who likes to study in the morning. So in the morning hours, you could do your maths, and in the afternoon hours, you could do your languages, and then again end it with maths. So this way, your brain is in a continuously, it's like a curve. So when you're doing maths, the curve is going up, and when you're doing your languages, it is going to stay horizontal. And then when you come back to maths again it's going to go up. So this way you're going to have a good balance, and by the end of the day, you also feel satisfied that yes, I have achieved something, right? Now, a lot of students, when they are studying, they study with the idea that I want to get 100 in maths. Now, please understand that is a very good goal. I agree. But in that process, if you don't have a way of planning how you're going to study, then getting that 100% is not possible. Instead, what you only focus on is, you have already written the number that you want. If you have to get that number, you know that you already need a certain percentage in all the subjects. So now your job is, once you have pinned up this number, is to only focus on your process. Now what do I mean by the process? The same thing, the timetable and how you learn. I am sure at your school, your teachers would have already given you the tips as to how to remember the important concepts. Keep your focus on that, and that will help you make sure that you also cover as much as the portion, and also very importantly, retain the information. Now obviously, one of the things that happens is, if you're just starting to study, you'll find it very difficult to sit and concentrate in one place. In that case, I would suggest that in the description of the video, there is another video which will help you to decide how you need to concentrate for your exam. Have a look at it. That is one way which has been scientifically proven to help the students to study for their exams. Now, the last thing before I actually end this video is, if you look at any of the sports people, their motivation is themselves. They don't have anybody external who actually motivates them other than their sports coach. The sports coach, all they can do is to tell the person that they can do it. But when they are in the field, when they are actually at their game, it is their own self-talk, that is what they are telling in their mind, that is the one that is actually going to push them through the entire game. Whether it is a win or a loss, they know that they are the people who are going to be motivated. So, when you're talking about motivation, it is not the perfect environment where you're sitting and studying, or neither is it that you're keeping the book in front of you and you're trying to study. The motivation starts with you. When you decide that you will, then anything is possible. Don't wait for that motivation to come. Instead, you start with the motivation yourself. Now, before I end this session, I'd like to tell you that you can do it for a singular reason, that I believe